morning again, and welcome back to House of Pain here on The Fan, the ARP Wave Clinic System. Our guest right now, Bret Hedican of the Anaheim Ducks of the National Hockey League, had his collegiate playing career up at St. Cloud State. And Bret, thanks for joining us this morning.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Bret, how did you get started on the ARP Wave, and how did it help you prolong your career?
Well, absolutely. Basically, I walked into Dennis's office there, I don't know what year it was, maybe 2005. And I was really having some patella tendonitis problems. I just had both my patella tendons operated on to try to get rid of the tendonitis, which was unsuccessful. I also had lower back surgery prior to that as well, and I was still having some problems with my lower back. And walked into Dennis's office and really said, well, the reason why you're not getting any better because they're really treating your problems probably in the wrong place. And it kind of intrigued me because I've always believed that over the last little while here, I think my training and some of the problems that I was having with my body were reasons of, just like we talked about, that the pain wasn't coming from where I was feeling it. So I think Dennis really struck a chord with me when he had said those things. And obviously that was one of the biggest things that we got to work on when I walked into his office, is he really found the areas of problem, and he did it through the ARP, and that's what's so unique and so special about it.
Explain how the ARP Wave can help younger athletes save energy by cutting down on, for instance, pregame warm-up.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can, the really unique, again, thing about the ARP is that you can loosen your muscles with this dang thing, and it's highly effective. I mean, I haven't really stretched in the last 5 years since meeting Dennis. I mean, I just used the ARP to loosen my quads, my hamstrings, my hips, my hip flexors, and, instead of doing a lot of stretch that typically can sometimes, like you say, wear you out even before you get on the ice, this thing is just amazing where you can just, put it on your quads and hammies and loosen your legs up and off you go.
You mentioned your patella tendons were pretty much killing your career. How are your patella tendons feeling now, if you don't mind me asking?
My patella tendons, I mean, I dealt with that for, probably the last, before I had those 2 surgeries on my knees, I probably was dealing with it fairly severely the last 3-4 years of my career. And I got to the point where, I was thinking about retirement because I could not skate the way I normally felt like I knew how to skate with the power that I like to skate with. And it was killing me. I mean, every stride I'd take, it was like a knife going into my kneecap. And so, for me, I mean, it's just absolutely prolonged my career. It got me back on the right track. My legs started working again. The power came back, and it's like a miracle for me.
How did you find out about the ARP Wave, and what pushed you to choose it?
It really was just a combination of a lot of things. I mean, I'd heard one player that I played with had a knee problem from Minnesota. He went to go see Dennis, but I had been on the internet, and I had kind of come across it as well. At the same time, I heard this, so it was kind of like, that's kind of weird. I heard this and saw it on the internet as well, and so it was kind of a twofold thing. I kind of was in search of something different, a new way to train, a new philosophy, something different than shooting, cortisone or drugs or anything like that. And I mean drugs, I mean anti-inflammatories, that sort of thing, to help my problem. I just was tired of that road, and it just never worked for me. So find a more natural way to do things.
That's Bret Hedican of the Anaheim Ducks, played his collegiate hockey up at St. Cloud State. This is House of Pain. If you want more information on how the ARP Wave system can help you, go to their website, arpwave.com. That's arpwave.com. More with Dennis Thompson, the founder of the ARP Wave Clinic. When we come back, this is House of Pain here on The Fan.
There is a better way to deal with pain and injury. You can find it at the ARP Wave Clinic. The ARP Wave Clinic works on the principle that joint problems, tears, sprains, fractures, or even repetitive task injuries are caused by muscles not properly absorbing the force. Let's explain it. The muscles of your body are driven and controlled by electricity, and when they're injured, you develop a type of a short circuit. ARP Wave locates the actual origin of that short circuit, and it's often not where you think it would be, and then it rapidly repairs it. The ARP Clinic treats the most elite athletes in the world. Imagine what the clinic could do for you, and the results are guaranteed. That's right, guaranteed. You'll increase your ability to absorb force, and that will eliminate your pain and improve your quality of life. There is a better way to deal with pain and injury. The ARP Wave Clinic. Go to KFAN.com, keyword pain, for more on ARP Wave or arpwave.com.
Welcome back to House of Pain. I'm the common man, Dan Cole, your host, along with Dennis Thompson, the founder of ARP Wave System, the ARP Wave Clinic. He has his clinic in Burnsville, and then his corporate office is located in Apple Valley. We want to thank Brett Hedican again for joining us here on the show today to tell us his story, his success story with the ARP Wave Clinic. Dennis, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, we had all sorts of inquiries through email, and we encourage that again today. If you would like to ask us a question for next week, go ahead and send an email, a question to common@kfan.com or booth@kfan.com, and we'll try to include your question for Dennis during next week's show. And if you want more information on the ARP Wave system, go to arpwave.com. That's arpwave.com. One listener says that he was told he needs a new hip, and he's wondering if your system at your clinic could help him and how.
Well, I believe it can. We'd have to see him, obviously, but typically whenever we're hearing that someone needs a new joint, it's because it's bone on bone. And I'm sure you've heard that very same thing from different people. But you have to ask yourself the question of why. Why is it bone on bone? There's no disputing the fact that it is bone on bone, but no one ever asks the question why. So if you do have a hip replacement or a joint replacement, eventually you're going to need another one because the why has never been answered. What we do at the clinic is we answer the question why, and generally the answer to that is that the muscles above or below the joint have not been doing their job absorbing force. And if they can't absorb force, then that force goes directly to tissue, i.e. in this case bone, and wipes out the cartilage, and now you're bone on bone. So what we do is we identify, first thing, just like we said in the system, we identify is the nervous system sending enough electrical signal to the muscle to fire it to where it can absorb force. Number two, we go in and we rebuild the shock absorbers, the muscles. We turn them on, and then we get the inflammation out of that muscle. We allow that muscle now to do the job that it's supposed to do, which is absorb that force. And then we build the strength in those muscles to where that force coming into the body never gets to the bone. So it doesn't alter the fact that you may be bone on bone. What it does alter the fact of you will not have pain because the bone never gets the force going into it. So, yes, we can definitely help.
Maybe this question then piggybacks on that, and I'm not sure because you're the expert and I'm not, so tell me if this is almost an identical question. It says, this is from Mike, it says, I have had a full hip replacement about 5 years ago. The doctor told me that due to favoring the one hip for so many years, I may need surgery on the other hip in the future. I'm now experiencing some lower back pain at this time. My question is, can ARP help me with the lower back pain and the arthritis that I have in both my hip joints?
Absolutely. And understand that we as human beings do anything to avoid pain. And so if you hurt your right elbow, you're going to use your left arm predominantly because your right elbow hurts. So you're going to back away from it. Same thing with the hip, same thing with the back, knee. Doesn't make any difference what it is. You're going to shift to the other side of your body. Now, all of a sudden, the other side of your body is doing twice as much work as the side that's supposed to be doing the work, and you're getting weaker and weaker and weaker on the side that the problem is. So, yeah, it's not uncommon at all to have all of those things happen because when you create a compensation pattern, you're creating an improper movement. And when you create improper movement, muscles do not do the job that they're supposed to do. So consequently, it's going to have a reverberation effect all throughout your body. And yes, we can address that by exactly the same scenario. Find out where the muscles failed and solve the problem.